Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank on the Voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160. And we have an interview segment presented by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. And joining us in the studio from the Coral-Graceton Fire Department, Mr. Logan Dellafiora. Logan, it's good to see you again.
You too, Josh. Nice to see you. How you been doing?
Oh, I've been doing all right. Yourself, sir?
Doing well. Keeping busy, but that's never a bad thing.
That's certainly true. One of the things that you've been keeping busy with has been a fundraising golf tournament that's coming up pretty soon.
That is correct. We're currently in the process of planning this year will be the third installment of the Posey Memorial Golf Scramble. That is once again hosted by the Coral-Graceton Volunteer Fire Company. It benefits the James Posey Memorial Scholarship Fund, which we'll get into a little bit later. We can explain a little more about that. But this year's tournament is scheduled for Friday, June 10th at Chestnut Ridge Resort in Blairsville. It's a 10 a.m. start. Registration begins at 9 o'clock. And the cost is $90 per player, which includes your golf, your carts, beverages on the course, beverages after the round, as well as a steak dinner at the fire station following the round. So it's $90 is $90, but you get a pretty good bang for your buck with that $90.
Yeah, it does sound like it's an all-inclusive day out on the links and the dinner to boot. That's pretty good. So talk about Posey.
So James Posey Flowers, so as mostly everyone that knew him as Posey, he passed in June of 2019. He was a life member of the Coral-Graceton Volunteer Fire Company, and he also served the community in a variety of other ways. He was an EMT with Citizens Ambulance Service. He was an EMT instructor. So some of the emergency medical technicians out there today have learned from him, and he's helped them to hone their craft. He was a veteran of the United States Army. He was very active in Disabled American Veterans of Indiana County. So all in all, he was a very active man. So this tournament, this scholarship that we made in his honor was kind of our way of honoring him, and it's a way to give back. So each year it's given to a deserving student from Indiana County who we look for community service. We look for membership with the volunteer fire company, but that's not necessarily a requirement. So it can be anything. It can be someone pursuing their EMT certification. It can be a volunteer firefighter. It can be someone being a nurse. It can be anything.
Right. Okay. And so far, this is the third installment. You've been able to hand out 2 scholarships, right?
So this is the first year we have the scholarship going. In the past years, we've given donations to Citizens Ambulance in Posey's name, well as the Disabled American Veterans of Indiana County. Just because with everything going on, getting this tournament established, it took a little bit of a process to get that going. But this year we will be giving out the inaugural scholarship itself, which actually we're hoping, we haven't notified the recipient yet. We will be selecting them this week. We've had a multitude of applications, and we're hoping that they'll be there at the golf tournament to receive their award that day.
I hope so, too, because that would be a very fitting place to receive that award. This has been a very popular, though, tournament since its inception.
It has. The community is very much supported it. We're very happy to see it. A lot of people, we do well with getting a variety of players, large number of players, and then we also do well with businesses stepping up and sponsoring the event to help offset costs and increase the funds that we can raise to give back to the community and give to the students who deserve and have earned the honor to receive the scholarship. Also, the people at Chestnut Ridge, this sounds like they've been top-notch as well. They do. They always are. Tony Ricchini's always good to deal with, so we have to thank him for that, and he's very he's accessible, and he makes the course available to us essentially, not whenever we want, but we have a wide variety of days to pick from to choose so we can maximize our turnout and things of that nature. All right, so again, it's June 10th at Chestnut Ridge. How can people sign up? So people can sign up by contacting me via email at all lowercase letters L.S. Dellafiora, DELLAFIORA @gmail.com. Or if you can't figure out how to spell Dellafiora or you couldn't write that down quick enough, you can contact me by phone at 724-422-8152. All right, and we'll repeat all of that near the end of the interview. So once again, that people didn't have a time to get the pen and paper ready, they will be able to do so. But again, this is a great event. So tell me what else is going on with Coral-Graceton Fire Department. The post office, post office, the big news. It is. That is the big news around town. The post office, the building is in place. When I left town this morning, I saw there was a contractor working inside of the building. So it seems to be moving along pretty well. Should be opening hopefully soon. I haven't been informed of an exact opening date yet, but whenever we do get that, I'm sure I'll pass it along. And it's just, everything else going on with the Volunteer Fire Company. Fundraisers comprise probably 75% of your time, and maybe going to emergency calls comprises 10%, and the other percentage points go to training and various other administrative tasks. But it's the big thing is fundraising. And as I can speak for probably any fire company in Indiana County, we're always looking for membership. You don't necessarily have to be charging into a burning building to help us out. If you want to help at fundraisers, you can do that. If you want to help clean the building, that helps. And
there's more than one way to help out in the fire department. And again, you don't have to charge into the building. You could be a driver. You could, as you said, help clean things up after a call. You could help with the fundraising efforts. And that's always very well appreciated because it does take an effort even to put on the bingo nights that the fire department puts on.
Certainly. It certainly does. And you see the same people there every week helping, and you thank them dearly for their help and assistance, but you don't like to have to see them do all the work and carry the load constantly. You don't want to burn people out because that is a major issue that occasionally happens where people just finally have enough of week in and week out doing the same things repetitively.
Right.
You're going to get tired of it. So if we can get more people involved, it helps to not only raise more funds, but it eases the burden on those that are leading the fundraisers as well.
That's definitely a plus. So let's talk about the membership efforts. I assume with you and with Justin as well, Justin Smyer, helping out with things down there. I imagine young membership has been pretty well, but you could always use more, as you said.
Absolutely. It's as is the case everywhere. You can always use more help. We've been fortunate where our junior firefighter program has run relatively well, where we've brought members in, even at the age from 14 on, and then they've grown. And as they age out of the junior membership program, they move to full membership. And then while they're in the junior program, they can complete a lot of their training. So once they turn 18, they're almost, other than one class, they're essentially trained and qualified to run into a burning building and, hopefully save some lives or save some property. So that program's been very beneficial to us. A lot of other neighboring fire companies in the county also have similar programs. So even if you don't live in the Center Township area, reach out to your volunteer fire company. If you have any effort to give, they will certainly take it.
This is Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank. We're talking with Logan Dellafiora of the Coral-Graceton Volunteer Fire Department. And just to kind of show how much a fire department helps out, I want to go back to last week to that massive fire at the lumber yard, the sawmill over in Brush Valley. Coral-Graceton, along with 20 other, over 20 fire departments responding to that scene. When you hear about something like that, and even though it is mutual aid, but you hear, oh my gosh, this is going to be a big fire. This is going to take a long time. There is still something that drives a firefighter, I think, to say, let's do it because they need the help.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking for myself, I can't speak for everyone, but I think it's the satisfaction you receive from seeing, it's some member of your community in a very dark time, quite possibly one of the worst days of their lives. And you can come out and try to lend a hand and try to just make that a little bit of it's never going to be a good day, but a little bit of an easier day for you. It's just that satisfaction you get home and think, I did my job. I did everything I could do. And because of that, someone maybe in the case of the fire last Thursday at the sawmill, they essentially lost everything. But there's sometimes when you get home and you think to yourself, maybe because of what I did, they have their wedding dress they saved from a fire. They found a family heirloom or a scrapbook. So, those efforts that's for me, I think it's a satisfaction of that. Just whenever someone's in need, somebody has to go do it. And if everybody has the mindset someone else will do it, there'll be no one to do it.
And I think in that case as well, not only was even though it was a total loss for that property, you stop the fire from spreading to other properties because that is a very close community out there. I was stationed on a neighboring property, and it was a residential property right there. And there were other farms in that area as well, other parts of that community. So you kept that from spreading out, and that could have been really big trouble, especially on a day like that.
Yeah.
When it was really hot and I think really dry as well.
Yes, that's true. It's, those efforts weren't in vain. There were some hazards that were mitigated through the efforts that didn't lead to bigger issues. As you said, the neighboring properties were protected. This time of year, you always have to worry about brush fires starting. So
yes, sir.
All in all, that was, that's one of those ones you're behind the eight ball whenever you are leaving the fire station. But I think, I commend personally, I wasn't there. I was out of town, but you have to commend everyone that on an 80-degree day put on 60 pounds of gear and went and fought a fire in a sawmill.
I know I couldn't do that. My dad did it for many years with the Indiana Fire Association, and he drove truck for them for many years too. So it takes a certain kind of person, I think, to become a firefighter, and I respect him for that 110%. So we mentioned the Posey Scholarship Golf Tournament, the Golf Scramble. What are some other fundraising things going on for Coral-Graceton?
So we always have, for years, we've had our Monday night bingo, starts at 6 o'clock every Monday.
Right.
And then we also have our monthly hoagie sale every third Saturday in the month. So those are the two major fundraisers we have, other than the occasional cash bash or golf tournament. But the two solid ones that are there consistently are the bingo every Monday night and third Saturday of the month are our hoagie sales.
Also, and cycling back to one of the stories that I just briefly mentioned, that we talked about briefly, the post office, because the U.S. Postal Service, even though there wasn't much on the property for a long time, they've been paying rent over to the fire department because that is on fire department property. That's got to be a great benefit to the fire department to be able to get that regular rent check.
It is. It's when we spoke with some representatives from the Postal Service when the process was in its early stages, they had expressed some interest where they kind of look for properties such as this with fire companies, other community-minded organizations to lease some of their property for these modular units to provide them with not a source of income as well. So for us, it's been very beneficial. You never turn down money, and it's it's a small chunk of our property that is being used. And the nice thing with the United States government is those checks are never going to bounce. So that's a consistent income every month.
That's right. Okay, let's wrap things up by talking about the golf scramble again. The James Posey Memorial Scholarship Golf Scramble, June 10th at Chestnut Ridge, $90 a player. Again, contact information. Everybody get your pencils ready. Here we go. How can they get a hold of you?
Phone numbers 724-422-8152 or by email at L.S.Dellafiora, DELLAFIORA @gmail.com.
Excellent. Logan, thanks very much for coming in today on Indiana in the Morning to talk about everything going on down in Coral-Graceton. I hope the golf scramble's a success once again, and let us know about the scholarship winner, too.
We will. I appreciate it, Josh, and I must say you're doing a very good job filling in for Todd.
Oh, please. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Indiana in the Morning presented by First Commonwealth Bank on WCCS.